Come.
So we will be ranking all 5 perk trees first. Then we will go into the perks right now. So to start with the perk trees, we've got Perception. It's the lowest. It's gonna be C. None of the perk trees will be below C, but Perception's the worst. I'm sorry. It has the weapons it applies to are not good. They're not great. Most people don't use them. A lot of its secondary perks, like the ones that have to do with looting and things like that, aren't the greatest. They're not worth speccing into the tree for, at least on their own. So in general, unless you're running like a spear rifle like playthrough, it's kind of pointless, and it's not really worth the skill points. Strength, A tier. I mean, gives you the shotgun damage increase, which is really good. It gives you sledgehammers and clubs. So, I mean, sledgehammers are insane. I mean, if you like clubs, you can do that too. It gives you the heavy armor perk, which is obviously really nice. Gives you both resource collecting perks. I mean, you really can't go wrong with speccing into strength. It used to be S, but A is probably where it's gonna go because listen, it's good, but there is one better skill tree right now. Fortitude, also A. Fortitude's great. I mean, knuckles are insane. Especially with heavy armor, it becomes unstoppable. You've got machine guns, so M60, tac rifle, both get applied to it. It's crazy good. For the extra perks after that, I mean, you've got like pain tolerance, things like that. So it's a good tanky build, and you get insanely good weapons. Really good perk tree. It's definitely up there. It's probably actually better than strength when it comes to survivability. The only good thing that's like probably strength is good at is the resource collecting. Alright, agility's S. Agility's S. Even with the stealth perks that not many people use, it applies to 2 guns, or two ranged weapons, applies to bows and pistols. That includes the SMG. If it didn't include the SMG, it wouldn't be S. But it includes the SMG, and it includes both, I think it includes Deagles and the Magnum. So you essentially have 2 ammo types with 2 of the best weapons in the game being the Deagle and the SMG. You get Parkour, which is arguably the best perk in the whole fucking game. So in general, has to be S. It just, there's too much going in agility to not get it. Intelligence, putting at B. It has the 2 trading perks, both Better Barter and Daring Adventurer, both of which are like really, really good. I actually run Intellect as my secondary perk tree almost all the time, but it's not really good enough to have as your primary perk tree. You're almost always going to just have it as like your secondary one for just the extra bonuses. You're not actually going to run it for like batons. Like, most people don't do that. Most people just go for like the trading perks and then go for like Grease Monkey because of the ability to unlock the bikes and the motorcycles and stuff quicker. Okay, so that is all 5 of the skill trees. Now we're gonna focus on each perk separately. We've got the sniper and mainly rifle perk. That will put probably in C with Perception. I think the rifle perk is kind of like the damage perk is kind of the best example of Perception. It's mid. I'm sorry. It uses 7.62 bullets. M60 is better. Tac rifle's better. I'm not going to choose a sniper over those 2. I know you can probably one-shot a lot of stronger enemies, but especially on like Horde Knights and stuff like that, even with like Penetrator, I still think just running the M60 is just the better way to go. Especially when you're gonna have other turrets shooting as well, it's just better to have the M60. Demolitions Expert, that will go in A though. Demolitions Expert's insane for late game. Especially with harder enemies becoming more and more common. Having contact grenades and things like that actually do damage is a pretty big deal. Like, I've had Horde Knights on day 35 where contact grenades don't do much. So probably going into Explosives Expert is probably the play. That's probably one of the next perks I'll go into eventually. So it's one of the only perks in Perception. There's a second one that I think is worth speccing into for Perception. So A tier, definitely 100%. Spears, D. I don't care. Sorry. There's only... I know they reworked them. Heavy attacks now exist. I don't care. It's just... There are better melees. There are better melees. It's not worth to go into Spears. Unless it's a challenge playthrough. Worst perk in the game. Worst perk in the fucking game. I'm sorry, it's terrible. You set off landmines less. There's a literal, just regular book that you read that makes it to where you can't set off landmines. It's shit. It's shit. Don't. If I see you put skill points into this after you haven't unlocked every other perk in the game, I hate you. Animal tracker, F. Another F tier. It's terrible. They're bad. I'm sorry. Like, food is not a problem in this game. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be a survival game. Food is not a problem. Having to hunt animals? No. This is good if you're trying to do the new challenges that they came out with 1.0. That's the only time it's valuable. Otherwise, it's shit. It's terrible. Penetrator, that will put up with A. That is the only reason why snipers can actually be viable in Horde Nights, is the Penetrator perk. That is the only reason. So if you're using snipers on Horde Night, go ahead. Then yeah, this is valid. It's the only reason why it's used on Horde Nights. If Penetrator did not exist, this would go down. Perception would go down actually as a whole, probably. It's terrible. It's perception is terrible. This is the only reason why snipers actually function in the game. I'm sorry. Snipers suck. They suck. Lucky Looter, I'll put it at B. It's a late game perk. And unless you're running perception as like your secondary perk tree, you're not going to get the skill points to max this out. It's a late game perk. You can probably put like 2 points in for cheap early on, and it's somewhat useful. But it's mainly just a late game perk. And so it's not bad, but it's not... Loot itself is not hard to get. I mean, like, end loot already gives you pretty good stuff, especially if you're already getting to tier 5s and tier 6s. It's not good. I mean, it's not bad, but it's like, it's better than the rifle one, to be honest. But it's just not like a needed perk, I should probably say. I shouldn't call it bad. It's just not a needed perk. It's something that you already get plenty of loot from stuff. So it's not really needed. Treasure Hunter, C. Same thing. There's already a mod now for helmets. It used to be the Lucky Goggles. Now there's the XP mod that also gives you radius decrease and a loot bonus. And not only that, you're not really treasure hunting too often. I mean, even if you have a ton of treasure maps, like, how often... You're not doing it enough. It's something that you don't do enough to actually put skill points in. Unless, like, if this increased the amount of treasure maps you found, I would probably put it higher. But I don't think it does. Yeah. So it's just finding more items, stuff like that. So it's not actually finding the treasure maps more. If it increased the amount of treasure maps you found, it would be probably like B, if not A. But because you don't find more treasure maps with it, it's just not worth. Actually, you know, it's gonna go down here. It's not a good perk. It's not really good. Salvage operations. It's middle of the road. It's like Lucky Looter. It's like, you're gonna need it if you're looking for electrical and mechanical parts, if you want engines, if you want batteries. Obviously, salvage operations is good. It's a resource collecting perk. You can never go wrong with it. But that's all it is a resource collecting perk. In the long term, there are other ways to get resources as well. But it's still good in the short term as well. So it's a middle of the road perk. Hey. Shotguns. Maybe it's just my experience, but like maxing this out makes almost any shotgun one shot. I mean, even like soldier zombies, you can sometimes even one shot headshot. So it's pretty good. It won't be S specifically because of demos. And cops to a certain extent. That's the sole reason. Because although you can do a ton of damage because how big cops are, if you accidentally shoot one to low enough health while you're fighting a horde, the cop explodes. And demos are the exact same way. You shoot a demo in the chest by accident, boom, and it hits the button by accident, boom, you have an issue. So shotguns are great. They're a good weapon. It's the classic zombie weapon, but it's not above A. Still really good though. It's one I would recommend speccing it as like a secondary weapon. I think shotguns are a great secondary, but it shouldn't be your primary weapon that you're using all the time, in my opinion. There's too many instances where it just doesn't help, especially with like armored zombies. So I'd say A is solid though. This is the club perk. I don't think clubs are that great. I think there are too many better melees. I mean, like, if you'd argue that it was like it was worse than spears now, I'd be fine with. But I just think spears and clubs aren't good. There's a lot of club mods, I'll say. And I think that's the only reason why I'm going to put it above spears is because there's not really any spear-specific mods. But, other than maybe, like, for bladed weapon mods, right? But clubs just aren't that good. Like, you can just go sledgehammers. If you're gonna go strength and go into clubs, go sledgehammers. Because sledgehammers, yeah, sledgehammers are good. Sledgehammers are really good. They're kind of like in the same position as shotguns, where they're good in almost every circumstance, with a few exceptions. They're great area of effect. They do area of effect damage. That's crazy. For a melee weapon, that's really good. And they also have a chance. They have a chance to stun an area of effect. That's really good. So, easy A. Yeah, it's slow, but if you're going strength anyways, you're probably going heavy armor. It's worth. Speaking of heavy armor, I'm trying to think of what armor types it applies to. Or like what armors, I should say, it applies to. I'll put it in B. I'm gonna put it in B because there's not enough heavy armors in the game yet. It's what? The miner, the raider, the biker. No, not biker, sorry. It's miner, nomad, nerd, raider. So there's only 4. And the perks are good. Like, the armor types are good. Miner's niche, but, like, the rest are solid. But it's just, there's a better perk coming up. So, it's good. It's just not the best armor perk. It's good, though. It's good if you're running heavy armor. I mean, the raider perk armor set's pretty solid. So, it's good. It's good, it's just not, it's not great. It could be better. If there's more armor types that have applied to heavy, then I would say it's better. But it just doesn't have enough armor types. Pack mule. This is gonna be probably my most controversial pick choice. I'm putting in an A. Here's why before I get yelled at. Number 1, and this is important. Number 1, the wardrobe changes where there's no clothing anymore made a big difference to inventory, because clothing was almost never used for weather problems anymore because you didn't care. It was used for clothing pocket mods, which opened up inventory spaces. Those don't exist anymore. They've added quadruple pocket mods, which are good, but I think it still takes like 6 armors mod slots out of the 16 that you have total. So you're sacrificing over a third of your armor slots for inventory space. That's a lot. That's a lot of perks that you can put into, especially if you're going strength and you're going heavy. You're gonna want those mod slots to be filled with like the padded stuff, like the armor improvement stuff, and like reload speed stuff, because you're gonna want that because you're gonna get hit a lot. So having having the open inventory spaces, especially if you're speccing into strength, just spending 1 or 2 more skill points is a play, I think. We'll put it in B actually, because you kind of need to be speccing into strength for it to be worth. I think if you're like speccing into strength the secondary, it's also worth, but if you have no points in the strength, then it's kind of like unreasonable to do it. But it's still good. Like, I know, like, if it was before the update, it'd be an F. It'd be terrible. The fact that there is no longer clothing pocket mods, and it takes up over a third of your mod space for your clothing or your armor to fill up the inventory or open the inventory up, it's worth now, I think. I think it's worth to put in at least a few good points just to, like, solidify it. Chef. Again, it's the same exact explanation as Animal Tracker. It's not worth. And there's actually a better food perk later on that I think makes more sense. It's not worth. It's not worth. It's just getting the magazines and crafting it for cheaper isn't worth it. I think I put 1 skill point into it just so I can get more magazines, and that was the only reason why I put a skill point into it. It's just not good. It's a shit perk. It's a shit perk. Bad perk. Not good perk. Minus 69er, A. A. All day, every day. All day, every day. Minus 69er, A. Listen, I don't care if I have to go find another iron node. I don't care if I have to go find another tree. Breaking it faster is always better. And it also works better when you're trying to break blocks to get into side places. Like, it's just better. It's just a better perk. It's just a better version. Motherload B. Motherload's good. Let me make that clear. Motherload's good. But minus 69er is just better. Because 99% of the time, you're not running out of, like, resource nodes to go mine. Okay? There's one 10 feet away. So it's not really a matter of, like, breaking them too quick. It's just a matter of getting it done. So the speed is better. It's just better to have that. And I think 69er is also the stamina tool perk, right? Yeah, stamina costs are less. Yeah, see? So not only are you getting breaking stuff faster with minus 69er, but you're also you know, you're also using less stamina. So it's just better in general, I think. So if you're choosing which one to spec into first, go to this first. I mean, you can go back and forth as well. That's not a problem. But this just gives you stamina reduction. That's 1000% the play. Brawler. So this is Knuckles. This is going to go up with sledgehammers. Let's go up with sledgehammers. Knuckles are also a really good... Yeah. Knuckles are going in sledgehammers. Knuckles are really good. Knuckles are insanely good. I would argue one of the most overpowered builds in the game is to go Fortitude Strength and go Knuckles with heavy armor, and then you can do shotguns and machine guns. You can go shotguns and machine guns with Knuckles. Unstoppable. Machine guns also going in A, just since I mentioned it. Machine guns going in A as well. Strength, Fortitude. If you only put points in the Strength and Fortitude, you could have you would have the most busted build in the game. Because you have heavy armor with pain tolerance and healing, critical injury healing. You have Knuckles, which are just spam with machine gunner and shotguns. So you have every base covered when it comes to fighting zombies, from birds to demos to basic ass Zeds. Like, you are kicking ass with that kind of build. The only reason why they're not S is because there is a better build, I think, to go. That I go regularly. So, yeah, I'm biased to that. I don't care. But it's an insane build, and it's also a really fun build. So it's definitely... Machine Gunner and Knuckles have to go A. This is one of the 2 shit perks for Fortitude that I think is kind of dumb. Okay. Huntsman... kind of have to put in F. I mean, I can put it in D. Here's why I can put it in D, and it's for one purpose: bones. That's the only reason. Bones for glue. Outside of that, I mean, again, food's useless, and leather. Leather's good too, because for the armor. So, I think that's fair, but like, again, it's the same thing. Until the fun pimps add a reason for hunting outside of food, like constantly, like actually hunting regularly, it's useless. It's buying away. You're not harvesting meat from animals enough. At least I never do. Because I always have food. I never run out of food. And there's a reason for that, because there's a singular perk in Fortitude that you never run out of food with. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. If anybody puts the well-insulated perk where it helps you with temperatures above F, you've never played this game. You have never played this game. There is never a moment in time where I've played this game and I've been like, damn it, I hate how I'm slightly cold. Or, hey, damn it, I have the heat debuff. Never. It's shit. It's shit. In all honesty, it shouldn't exist. It shouldn't exist. It shouldn't exist. They're reworking weather coming up. They're reworking of the wardrobe in the next update as well. So, it should not exist. Until weather actually fucking matters, this should not exist. It's shit. This is the farming perk. I'll put it up there for one reason. Super corn. That's the only reason, is super corn. Again, when are you growing crops? You get enough cotton, golden rod, and chrysanthemums from fucking the pine forest. Okay? You get plenty. You also, like, no one farms. Why are you farming? Stop farming. You don't need to farm. You get plenty of resources. I've never had a problem with any of those resources in, like, base game. I've had it in Undead Legacy, but that's because Undead Legacy has a ton more use of, like, cotton. I've never had an issue with cotton or anything in this base game. So it's not worth to grow crops. You can buy shit at that point. By the time you have enough skill points and enough, like, resources to build a farm, you could buy those things from Wrecked. It's moot. It's not useful other than for supercorn. But supercorn's busted because you need it for, like, you know, like, learning elixirs and stuff like that. Which, granted, you can also buy, but they're expensive. So it's a little more fair. I spend a lot of money on learning elixirs. So honestly, this is probably, like, the only reason why I'm putting it in D, is because learning elixirs would be nice to be able to craft. So, supercorn is the only reason that's in D. Pain tolerance, A. Pain tolerance is crazy. Pain tolerance is crazy. Just a straight damage reduction from anything and everything. From I think it might even include fall damage. I could be wrong, but I know it's for like, you know, any enemy attacks. So like, it's just a damage debuff, or it's just a damage reduction. Sorry, that's insane. That's insanely good, especially if you're going to melee build like with these again. So it's just insane. It's insane. Healing factor. We'll put in B. We'll put in B because there is a better healing perk. It's good. It's a good one to have, especially early game when like you may break your ankle or break your leg, or break your arm. But and you don't have, like, casts yet. But it's still like late game. It kind of teeters off even when it's maxed and things heal twice as quick, and I think you get healing every like 10 seconds or something, every 5 seconds. It's not better than B. It's that late you already have like a ton of healing items. Iron Gut is the perk that topples all of the fucking hunting and eating perks. Iron Gut is good. I used to never spec into this, by the way. I always thought Iron Gut was shit too. I would have put Iron Gut down here like 2 months ago. No, it's good. It's good for two purposes. Number one, it's good now that food is harder to get. It's not hard enough to make these viable, but it's harder to get. So it helps a little bit there. Number two, and it's a general food reduction need. So food reduction need means it applies to all of these perks down here, like the Master Chef, the Animal Tracker, and the Huntsman, and the Living Off the Land. So off rip, all 4 of these perks take a hit because this just drops general food reduction. So it's just better. Also, buffs last longer, which means learning elixirs last longer. Awesome sauce lasts longer, which means that you have to craft less of them. I think if you have this max, a learning elixir can last like, you only need 2 per horde night, if not 1. One good one if you time it correctly. So Iron Gut's good. It's not like a necessity, so it's not going above B, but it's good. And it also just makes all these other perks shit, so it has to be pretty high. This is cardio. B. Same thing. It's only when you run. I mean, I know you can technically, what you could do is when you're about to run out of stamina while like mining and stuff, you can sprint for a sec and it'll buff your stamina regen. But spending a skill point in this is good. It's fair. I do it when I do a Fortitude build, but you don't need it. You could definitely do like, you know, just drink a fucking any sort of drink, like a coffee, and your stamina regen already goes up. So it's good. And coffee's pretty well easy. It's pretty easy to get coffee and like stamina regen. So it's good, but it's not better than B. It's good though. It's a worthwhile perk to have, especially if you're like going Fortitude and you have the space. All right. Agility. Let's see. I think bows are good because of the different types of bows. Arrows, like the explosive bolts and explosive arrows. I don't use crossbows though, to be fair, so I mean, maybe crossbows are insane, I don't know, but like obviously like the other ammo types are good. Outside of that, it's just not great. Like, I mean, like it's good for stealth. And you don't really have to like do anything else with it, but it's just outside of that, it's not necessity, you know? It's good for like if you're just trying to like quietly clear out a tier 5 that you're probably too low to like finish, and then to save your ammo for like the actual end horde that you have to fight that you can't stealth. It's probably good for that, but outside of that, it's like, it's very niche. Gunslinger's ass. It's the best weapon perk in the game. Bar none. Easily. Why? Affects SMGs, affects Desert Eagles, and it affects the 9mm pistol. That's it. You can effectively have a full kit for any circumstance if you have those 3 weapons. Put a suppressor on the 9mm, it becomes one of the best stealth weapons in the game. Hell, you only need the deagle and the SMG to be fair. You put a suppressor on the deagle, but I think the 9mm was a little quieter, so it's better for stealth. So 9mm for stealth, then you have the SMG for hordes, and you have the deagle for high damage enemies like demos and police and soldiers. So affects all that. Has to put it in S. It's insanely good. it also works really well with a lot of the agility perks that we're going to get into. So, it has to be up there. Blades S. It essentially counters the irradiated effect when you get the bleed. So you don't have to worry about heat. Like, you basically don't have to have a rad remover if you're using blades on your bladed weapon. So it's good for that. Blades are also just great. They're fast swinging, but they're also high enough damage to where it's like, it's faster than the sledgehammer, but a higher damage than a knuckles. It's kind of like an in-between that actually works well. So it's better. It's better. With the bleed on it, it's good. I have nothing but good things about this. Parkour, or, no, this isn't parkour. This is running gun. A. Yeah, A. Especially when you get to the tier 6 infested, you're going to be running a lot. Because you're definitely going to have to reload several times during those final hordes. Or final groups of zombies, and during horde night. But you're not really outside then. But when you're running from the zombies on a tier 6 infested clear, you need to reload a lot. And being able to run and reload is a blessing. Hipfire is nice, but it's mainly the reload. So being able to run and reload is awesome, and you kind of need it. So it's a really good perk. Medium armor, A. Medium armor has too many armor types. I'm gonna say it. Has too many. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. It has too many compared to heavy. If you're gonna have 2 perks that affect specific armor types, you need to make them have the same amount of armor. Especially when a lot of the medium armor type armor perks or armor especially when a lot of the medium armors have the same stats, like same like status effect buffs as heavy. Like there are medium boots that or medium shoes that let you run faster, and so is heavy, and they're the same speed if they're the same quality. So it's kind of like, if you're gonna have that, why wouldn't you just go medium? Because then you run even faster because there's less weight involved. And, you know, it's better. It's better. There's better stuff. There's better medium armors right now. So until they add more heavies, medium armor perk is a better choice. Parkour is S. Parkour is S. Parkour is S. Okay. You sprain your leg from jumping out of the window of a second story. It's S. It's S. Like, it is such a good perk. And especially, like let me put it this way. And I've seen, and there's videos of this if you want to look it up. You can go to the top of, like, Higashi Tower, have parkour, and jump off, and I think you live. No, I don't think you live. You live. I think if you have, like, a full suit of armor, and, like, you have, like, the fall reduction mod on, you live. I have been flying a fucking gyrocopter. I accidentally jump out. And I lived. I showed 100 health, and I was pretty high. Like, you could barely see the ground below me. So, it's just, you never die from fall damage. You never break your leg from fall damage. It is so good. And you jump higher. So you can actually parkour up some tier 5s that, like, so if you just want to get to the end loot, or, like, if you're, like, trying to move stuff from the top to your, like, car and then go back up, you can skip a lot of stuff. S. It is the best perk in the game, in my opinion. I would actually put it like up. It's too good. There's too many ways you can fall off and break your legs and sprain your legs that it just is too good. D. Both stealth perks are D. Both stealth perks are mid, like below mid. They're just not good. You're not stealthing enough. No one stealths in this game too much. And, like, if I did an armor perk tier list, which I might eventually, it won't be today, you don't stealth enough. There's not enough stealth in this game to, like, warrant skill points. And so, I would put the assassin's armor in a similar area. It's just not great. Most of the time that you're fighting hard zombies that you need that 2 times, 3 times, 4 times multiplier, they see you. It's like a triggered event, so you don't have stealth in that situation. I mean, like, it's just not good. It's just, there's very niche situations for it. Okay. Last perk tree. Intelligence. Electrocutioner. It is better than clubs. It is better than spears because the electric baton is wild. It is an insanely good weapon, melee weapon. You find it all the time early game. It's good. With that being said, it is not better than Knuckles, it is not better than Sledges, and it's not better than Blades. At late game, even though the stun is great, you're definitely going to be using something else. And you're not really meleeing a lot late game, so it's like, I would rather just stick to the bleed or to the stun area of effect, things like that. It's good with nerd tats, though. Fortnite, nerd tats with that, area, it's good. It's good with that. Robotics expert. I need to check this. Does robotics expert apply to turrets? Like specifically ones that you place? I don't think it does, because I think this does. It's a trap. I have to put it at the same level as spears. The robotic sledge is not good. It's useful for Horde Knights, but like I mean, it's not even like useful in the sense of like damage. It's just useful to like put underneath where they fall off so they don't go into rage mode and break shit. That's it. That's it. So, hold on. Skip that song. Oh, didn't mean to mess. My bad. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it's terrible. Robotics Inventor, not good. Put it in D. It's not good. Until they add more robotics weapons, kind of like the same thing as Electrocutioner, to be honest. It's supposed to be for batons. Until they add more batons and more robotics expert, or more robotics weapons, I can't put them higher. They're not good. I'm just gonna combine these. Daring Adventure and Better Barter, S. I literally go into Intelligence with Agility solely for these two perks. It's that good. Better Barter, having better stock, and having better prices and sale prices is just good. It's too good. Because like now, I can literally go to any trader and they have a chance of having like tier 5 weapons, ammo, resources. It's too good to not get. It's really good. And you can sell, when you do your sell-offs, you make that much more money. It's so good. Daring Adventure, same thing. Yeah, quest rewards are worse now. Irrelevant. I can claim 2 rewards. Usually it's like gas and stuff, but that's fine, because that just means I don't have to worry about batteries. I can just do gas-powered stuff. Too good to pass up. Also get a good amount of money. You get more dukes per quest. It's just overall a bomb of a perk. Too fucking good to not take. You have to have it. You have to have it. Charismatic nature. I'm putting it in C because it's a multiplayer perk, and I fucking hate that. It's dumb. If charismatic nature was a single player perk, I would like it better. If it affected you as well, I would like it better. But it's for other people. So unless you're playing multiplayer, it's not good. So it's useless. So it's like I'm putting it in the middle because it's just there. Physician A. Physician is good. Physician is better than Healing Factor. Why? Because if you max out Physician, not even max out. If you put 3 skill points into Physician, this is what I learned. Physician just straight up ups baton damage, and I didn't know that. If you put 3 skill points into Physician, you max it out for yourself, I believe. Not that I believe, I'm like almost positive because I realized this. Yeah. The last 2 perks in Physician, you don't even need. It's the first perk that, like, you literally only need to put 3 perk points in for it to be insanely good. Like, all of these other perks you have to max out for them to be, like, really good. After the first 3, if you want to stop, you can stop. Because it's only chemistry, station crafting, and baton damage. Or baton dismemberment, I guess. Instantly curing sprains with casts. Or sprains and broken bones with casts. I think sprains. I don't know. Is it both? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So here's the thing. Getting an increase in healing and instantly curing sprains or broken bones with casts is wild. And having so much more healing, it makes this just seem not needed, because 99% of the time that critical injury increase, like faster healing, is gonna be for sprains and broken bones. So it's just better. It's just better. This I would, okay, here's what I will say. The only reason this is an S tier is because it doesn't affect infections. Like, it doesn't affect the infection healing. If it did, it would go an S. But because it doesn't affect infections, and it only applies to, like, abrasions and stuff like that, I think. I don't even know if it applies to abrasions. But I know it doesn't apply to infections. So it's going to be A. Just because it doesn't apply to all injuries, but it applies to, like, the main ones that, like, you have to deal with. Advanced engineering. Also middle. Because you just, resources are in a very weird spot right now. Because early game, you don't craft a lot. Like, you're not gonna craft a ton of stuff early game. At least I don't. I find all my shit during questing. And resources are kind of just not hard, so reducing resource crafting needs isn't a big deal. Yeah, you get more of the magazines, but, like, you unlock the forge and the workbench pretty quick. So the only thing you need is, like, the chem station and the crucible. But the chem station, you don't need. You get, by the time you're in desperate need of a chem station, you have enough magazines. And the crucible, they almost always sell it at traders right now. I don't know if that's like a bug or a problem, but almost every trader sells a crucible within the first 2 weeks. So it's just not needed. It's not a necessity. If they make the crucible hard to get, if they make the resource need higher, it'll go higher. For now, it's not needed. Grease monkey. Vehicles in this game are so hard to get. Because you actually do need vehicles in this game. Like, especially mid-game. Like, you need to get a gas-powered vehicle. You need a motorcycle, specifically. Like, mid-game, I was bitching for so long that I didn't have a motorcycle. You needed a motorcycle. So, being able to unlock the magazines faster, get the magazines faster is need. I break my car 24/7, so the repair kits are good. I mean, I have enough repair kits. The reason I'm putting this at B is because when I eventually use a Forgotten Elixir, I probably won't respec into this now that I have all the vehicles unlocked. So I think after you unlock all the vehicles, it's not worth. Right? So, good, not great. Lockpicking. This is the This is the forgotten mechanic of the game. Genuinely. I press E and I sit there. And I sit there. And I sit there. And then guess what? Breaks. 3 seconds left. Click it again. Breaks. Press it again. Breaks. Press it again. Now, this would reduce that. You're correct. So why am I putting it so low? There is like 5 things you can lockpick in this game. There's nothing. There's end loot and police cars. I was including each end loot tier separately, by the way, when I said 5. Oh, no, gun safes and regular safes. You don't need it. What's worse is, like, tier 4 quest rewards when you're starting to get into, like, the desperate need for, like, lockpicking. It's timed charges, I think. It's either tier 4 or tier 5. Like, which are designed to break shit. So, like, you don't need it. It's a forgotten mechanic. You can't lockpick locked doors, which is also dumb. You don't need it. You don't need it. Buy. Shoot. It's useless. It's at the very, very bottom for good fucking reason. It deserves to be at the very, very bottom. It's terrible. It's the most useless perk in the fucking game. I think it's literally just reduce the chance of breaking and reduce the crafting need. Pick locks 20% faster, 10% chance of the lower lockpick breaking. Find 1 extra lockpick when they are found in loot. Find 2 extra lockpicks when they're found in loot. Brother, I get them as quest rewards by tier 2 as well. So, fuck you. No. Useless. Change the lockpicking mechanic, please. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you copy another video game, Skyrim. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Fucking... I don't want to sit around for 20 seconds staring at a fucking safe. Sorry. It's just, I hate this perk, and I think it's dumb, and I'm mad they've forgotten about this fucking mechanic. Hey. Last one. This has multiple names. It's essentially just the attack speed perk for all the different weapons. All the melee weapons. Hey. It's a good perk. It's a good melee perk. I mean, like, what do you want me to say? It's attack speed. That's it. It's attack speed. That's all it is. All it is attack speed. That's all it does. That's all you do. It's good. It's a good perk. It's a good solid perk. It's a stat buff. I don't need anything else except that. Like, cool. I don't know what else you want me to talk about this. But yeah. That's the tier list. It's pretty easy. It's 100% true. If you don't agree with me, I don't know, leave. Let me just flex on all the haters. I don't know. This is 100% factual. Everything here is correct. I'm right, you're wrong. And yeah.